Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Legends Unleashed Championship, and this time in the land of Dawn to unleash the Royal Rumble in it. This time we are going to have a best of 5 game series between the John Townsend, which will be on the blue side, taking on Boyko Esports, which will be on the red side. Joining with me in the caster deck is none other than the Silver Rock in man himself.
And Sasuke, how's it going, man? Like even diving straight to the draft. Both of the teams seems pretty prepared with themselves from the last matches. And it's Ruby, the right band coming in from Creator. And also as an answer to that, because they have the second pick from the side of BKE, so they'll be banning out Zuxian. Do you think the mind games will be played from the both of the teams though? Because these two teams are really experienced teams.
You may be right at this, but again, it won't be, I won't be surprised at these points because if they play the mind games or do some shenanigans in the bans itself, because as of now, I'm not seeing any surprising ban. I mean, all the three bans as of now are quite the standard bans. We know like these heroes would be in the banning phase because the the output these heroes gives are just too much.
Yeah, that's true. Like even if we play G just do with the prediction games if we do among two selves, but even if we just go into the draft, we can see there's Chip banned from the side of Boyko Esports. So Sasuke, right now, what do you think as a prediction would be from the side of JT at this moment?
They could prioritize again. Oh, wait a minute. That is the last ban. I should just activate my skills over here. Just a second, I'll be back. Activating my Mangekyo Sharingan.
Oh my god, you just sure Sasuke can do that, and you're absolutely good on that one. And if they wanna go for the Roger, they can actually do. But the Boyko Esports, they have last ban for themselves, and they decide to ban out the link.
A dead patient is a good patient.
Open to the options. We have these heroes, and along again, Team BK they could prioritize a Hayabusa pick as of now because it is open, and we know like how deadly assassin that Shadow Ninja is in the current patch. But we are seeing Aizen on that Edith.
That's true. Like, and also as an answer to that edit, the team JT can actually go for an Terizla or perhaps an Xbox. I was gonna say that, but meanwhile, just Sadgen just picks onto that Xbox. They won't even give them a time to pick a counter for themselves. And if we see from the side of team JT, the Roger will most probably will be going on to that gold lane. So they could also prioritize that Hayabusa as you mentioned. So even if they go for that Hayabusa at this point, it would leave less options of the meta heroes at this point from the side of Team BKE at this moment.
You are absolutely right about it, but again, I don't think so that Ursula would be gaining an upper hand in the EXP lane against that Xbox because like Xbox, he has the upper hand, not in the early game though, but again, once he's farm, once he gets his items in the early phase, or somehow he gets fat. But he will be prioritizing the front line of melting time and giving some pain and will be a nuisance in their ass. But again, it is up to the players how they play their own heroes. For the marksman, it is going to be the Moscow on the gold lane for BKE this time.
And also, if we pick the Moscow, it's against that Roger. So the Roger has an early lane dominance with that Lycan Pounce and those enhanced basic attacks with the attack speed he's getting. So the Moscow, he just has to wait and just free hit those minions on last HP so that he could get a lot of farm with this team. And the total fights, it's going to be pretty interesting because we see Easy on Valentina. So most probably she'll be probably stealing the last Insanity or perhaps the Primal Wrath coming in from Aizen. But do you think from compared from the Xbox or either the Edit, which ultimate is good for the Easy at this moment?
Well, both of the ultimates have their own perks in the perspective because if easy wants to go and stay up behind the back line and do the damage, I do think like Primal Wrath would be a perfect option for him. But again, for securing a kills going in with the aggressive plays, the Oxpog ultimate would quite come in handy. But again, we might see some interesting ban, a Hayabusa ban from BK if they don't want to pick. But oh, wait a minute, it is going to be a Fanny ban. I do think like that could be a respect ban or homework fan because we know like JT did pick out a fan in previous games in this tournament though.
That is true. And perhaps, what if they're probably just thinking that from the side of JT, they have a Fanny player with themselves. So they could actually go for the Fanny. And the ban itself speaks that the Fanny would have actually worked in this game. So, as a Fanny ban is quite viable at this moment. And also, from the blue side, we can see this Hylos and Vixana ban from Capri Cutie as a Vixana ban. Well, do you really think the Vixana ban was worth it?
Technically, because we don't know, because yeah, Terrified does do a lot of disengaging, especially to the Kufra, because once he's charging over there, doing some insane setups for his team, the Terrified from that Texana quite cause a nuisance for him, and they will be just panning out from this game because they don't want that, the Terrified for that Kufra. But
And
again, we
that
are
is true.
seeing.
And that is absolutely true, Sasuke. Like if you compare just two heroes from the side of blue team that easy on that onto that Valentina, and if the from the side of Team Red, the Boyko Esports, if they would have gone Valentina, I mean sorry, the Xana, it would have been some trouble to that Kufra as well as that Roger. If he wanted to come along with that Lycan Pawns to strike, it would give them a lot CC to just back off. And meanwhile, we can see Array and Capri Cutie onto that Kufra and Lance, which is a big diving hero for themselves. So that there's almost like 3 to 4 diving heroes, or it's almost like the whole draft. It's going to be diving draft from the side of Team JT.
You're right about that, but again, not to mention because Team Becky they have this elite in the Roman section, I believe, and which could probably catch off guard one or two heroes if that Kufra or that Trizla is not marking and zoning out that elite. But eventually, oh wait a minute, that Aurora might come in handy to disengage or nullify the offensive draft coming in from the JT this time.
That is true. Like even if someone just casually goes and dive inside her, she could just use the ultimate of Aurora to just dive inside and help herself. And along with the passive, she'll be able to get a lot time to her to get his backup with herself. Like even if she gets caught into a CC, her passive would actually keep her alive for like 2 seconds. So I do think that is kind of enough time for her team to arrive because there's Moscow, the last insanity from Xbox. It's a lot of time for them to buy if they're going for an engage. And meanwhile, we can see there's Lancelot. So we'll be probably just seeing that zing, zing, zing coming in onto that Capri Cutie.
That was quite a long time deciding the hyper for Team JD, and I do believe like Lancelot might become an option just to make sure he gets those squishy heroes in the enemy team, which are the Aurora along with that Moscow. And I do believe for some reasons, like after using the combination, even like Julian might be fall into the hands of Lancelot if he misses those combinations though.
That is true, and also like we can see both the teams, they're helping their junglers to get a fast rotation for themselves. And Lancelot will be most probably going onto the EXP lane, and Julian with his opposite rotation onto the gold side. So the Roger, he would be feeling those compressions coming in onto his lane because the engage will be too deep because there's an edit. He could actually use the onward along with the flicker to just drag him out of the turret. And meanwhile onto the near the litho side, we can see some engages going onto that Kufra and that edit. And it's going to be a first blood most probably because they're just casually contesting for the Little Wanderer.
But now this time, both of the teams are playing it safe. They knows like what is at stake, and this is the game number one. But not let's not get too excited with it. But this time, look at the position coming in from it. He is already there present to help out the marksman, and any miss engage or an overextend coming in from Roger would highly pay for his own action this time. Kufra is there charging up, and he will be just canceling out not to over engage, it seems.
That is true. Like, and also, like, we can see Julian, he is just backing off because there's no creeps for him to take. And there's Kufra, he just spotted out the Kufra. He wants to give a land log combo onto him. And see, he seems to be stealing those creeps from that Lancelot.
Mhm. Even spite of that, even Lancelot, I do believe, like did steal the bottom jungle, but again, it is up to them. Stealing both of enemies' jungles, but this time the first turtle will be spawning up in minor 2 seconds as we speak of, and Team JT, they are already there starting the turtle this time, and it would be an uncontested turtle because look at that turtle HP, it's already there, and there we go, a free uncontested turtle in the hands of Team JT. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Moscow might be in some trouble as he is a bit low in terms of HP, but that is the disengage coming in from Roger. He's not willing to go for an overextend because he knows the rumor from the team BKE is quite missing as of now.
And Julian should have actually, just trade something inside of that turret. I mean, sorry, the turtle. Because from the JT, there was no contest to the turtle. So they should have actually ganked onto the gold lane because there was absolutely no one to just guard that Roger. Because they have Edith with themselves. She could actually go with the onward and give a set for her team. But she decides to play it safe because they have a lot of scaling heroes. And if you see the rotation of that Aurora, she's being extremely safe because they know that the scaling comp is going to come. But the L with the penalty zone coming in onto him, it's going to be a lot of trouble hand to handle. It's going to be last sanity just walking on to the first blood taken onto the Thorn Rose. Most probably he'll be using the Phantom execution as well. But nope, he just backs off an array. Seems to be in some trouble, but the Aizen just decides to just back off from that position.
That's true, and that was my I would say like a perfect execution. But in times, the freeze coming in from Aurora was just too perfect. Meanwhile, this time Aizen might be in some trouble as he's just too deep, and that is the killing execution along with the Lancelot as he managed to take off the kill. Meanwhile, Julian in the mid lane trying to get a skill or a kill out of that combination what it has ended up, but he'll be just going in safe. There is the Lancelot trying to go for a steal, but the retribution will be used from Julian this time. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Moscow in some dire situation, not being able to go for his farm and do a 1v1 laning stuffs against that mighty wolf.
Oh my God, they're playing so safe. Like the discipline from both the teams, it's going to be really tough to just decide what their objectives are because there's Terizla to just leave his lane for one turtle, and it's really absolutely good. And there's boy Ko, he knows he wants to go for the rotation as well. Meanwhile, Kufra is charging for the. Oh my God, the penalty zone just knocking onto that Julian. He's just disrupting the retribution of himself, but he still gets the turtle. And there's going to be the last insanity for use from that Xbox, and Ari goes down in the hands of Xbox. They want to go for the more. The Terizla is extremely low. There's like 4v1 situation at this point. He's down along with the Captain QT as well as the creator, and it's going to be the payback given to the Aizen, but it actually doesn't matter because he's the tank at this moment, and he still secures the turtle with those 2 kills.
1-for-2 trade along with the turtle in the hands of Team DKE. They are seen looking pretty strong, and there we go. Valentina Kane going down with that beautiful combination from that Julian, allowing him to take that kill. Kufra might be in just protecting the Lancelot buff as of now. Team JT, they should prioritize the rotation, their marking, and might be change the pace of the ganking this time though.
And also meanwhile onto the bot side, we can see they're going to gank out that creator is like 4 rotation coming. I mean, the penalty zone has been used up to just guard himself, but it not work because he's almost dead. This Lancelot to give him a lot of backup with a Thorn Rose and a puncture. He still doesn't have the puncture to back off from that dire situation. Most probably he'll be backing off because the skills from the side of BK have been used. And onto the top side, I do think so. Boyko has gone down with that Roger picking on the kill as well as the terror onto the top side. And bot side, we see some good puncture coming in onto that Capri Cutie, and the ultimate has been stolen from that Easy. He was trying to give a lot of CC to that Edith and Aurora, but sadly it wouldn't work. But onto the mid side, they should actually prioritize the turrets now because they have actually lost one from the top tier.
The engages coming in from this BKE sports are up to the point, up to the perfect. Oh, wait a minute, there goes the miscommunication, and that is the jump from the Kufra making sure, but there is the flicker making sure that he lives with the minor 1% HP, but there is the Lycan Power securing the kill, but in the process he'll be going down as L is there to take the kill. There is nothing covered. Is that yes or down? That is not Penalty zone being used in defensive way, but again the damage from this Julian is just too much to handle for him. He
Oh,
cannot defend or disengage. Last time it being used
oh
in
my God.
defensive way, but again that easy securing a kill over to that Moscow. This team BK, they are going to all out in the early aggression. I don't think so. Like Moscow should be there because he is kind of late game marksman. But again, it is up to him.
That is true. And onto the bot side, like this Julian, he's patiently waiting, but he wants to go to the rotation for the turtle. And Boyko just keeping the turtle ready for him. He's just like, just I'm keeping this turtle ready for you. Just come here and give the retribution for yourself. But meanwhile, onto the mid side, with the enhanced sword used up from L to just back off from that CC coming onto that Terizla. He was kind of disrupting and wasting this time, but he actually secures the turtle with absolutely no contest coming in from JT. And they should actually focus onto the turrets because they're winning a lot of kills as well as the team fights and along with the objectives. So the only thing that's left right now is to secure some turrets. But onto the top side, we can see some ganking coming on to the Capri QT. We can see Boyko is going with the last insanity. He trusts his insanity way too much, but he fails to secure a kill. It was going to be backfire, but the onward along with the Earth Shatter and those enhanced basic attacks from that Aizen will take the kill onto the Capri QT inside the turret.
That is true. And two ultimates being used just to kill one slithery Lancelot, which was just slithering and sliding between those minions along with them. Two heroes, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Roger 2 managed to secure a tier 1 tower in the bot lane with the three members in the bottom section. Meanwhile, Frost being used from the arrow, that is the jump, and the start penalty zone might connect, and that is the easy last sanity being used. But this time, Boyko using the last sanity being able to connect. There is the penalty zone connecting three members, and this time the voucher connecting from the Lancelot is just too much, and will be taking down two members of Team BKE. This time the fights is in the hand. Look at that! Slithering and slithering between them. The damage is online from Capri Cutie.
He's just finding those openings for that puncture to just dive in and use that Thorn Rose. And it was perfectly, he's using those Thorn Rose to immune from that Boyko's last insanity along with that Sadgen's ultimate, from that Aurora's ultimate, as well as that Aizen's onward. It is absolutely beautiful to watch how that insane that Lancelot is playing. But meanwhile, onto the top side, we can't see much happening, but the Lord will be spawning onto the 10 second. But meanwhile, that Kufra goes on to the engage, and the passive from that Aurora has been used up, and she falls down into the hands of JT at this moment, and they want to go for the last sanity has been used up from Boyko. He wants to go for the engage, but he takes the kill onto the creator at this moment, along with the enhanced chain used up from Julian, but it won't do enough damage to take anyone out. But there's still both the tanks are still alive, so they could actually go for the contest at this point. It's like 4v1 situation at this point, but the Aizen, he wants to go for the kill, and Captain QT just falls into that hands of Edith. So they should actually go for the Lord now because it's like 2v3, 2v4 situation at this point. Not even 2v4, it's like 3v4, so they could actually go for the Lord at this moment.
That is true. And with the Lancelot going down, they have quite an upper hand this time to secure a lot. But okay, look at that. Oh, minions from this team JD. There is the jump. Okay, the last energy being used. Kufra going down at that. What is the target? But look at that. Raider might be in some trouble because that three members are there to punish him. But the amazing retribution plays coming in from that Julian, making sure that his teams manage to secure that Lord.
And this Lord, it would be pretty scary because if we see onto the goal difference, it actually isn't much. But the Julian's damage with those enhanced sight and the sword is pretty insane because they also have a lot of CC. But onto the mid side, the Moscow and the Sadgen is there to give a lot of damage to the creator at this moment. They just want to take the mid tier and they will be successful in taking the mid turret. And L, he seems to be in some trouble because Array is charging onto the Tyrant's Revenge along with the Rage. He perfectly gets the kill onto the L. It's going to the penalty zone perfectly marked up, but the backfire from that Aurora as well as that Moscow is giving them trouble. But the Spear of Destruction has been used up along with that last insanity from Boyko. But the Lord will be still there, but because they have the inhibitor passes, so the Lord wouldn't be much to do so, and they're taking the mid turret down as well.
They are taking one too much and prioritizing. Like, let's not waste this Lord. Let's get something out of it. In spite we lost L in our team, though.
That is true, but meanwhile, onto the bot side, we can see Aizen and the Moscow casually just giving a lot of damage. Creator, he wants to give a setup for his team, but he still doesn't have the flicker with him because the penalty zone. But Aizen, he wanted to go with the onward engage with him, but this boy Koto casually poked down the array with the open fire from him. The fire missiles are coming really handy at this moment, and we can see the Capricuti, his creeps are just stolen away from the opposite team. It's going to be just causing him a lot of experience and the gold because as a jungler, you need a lot of farm from that creeps. But onto the mid side, both of the teams seems pretty ready because there's Aurora casually just roaming around that edit. They want to go for the engage.
Ara is planning to make sure he gets his hands over to that Aurora, but okay, look at that perfect engage is from that Aizen, making sure his mage is doing fine, and that is a pick up lane. That is the ultimate coming in. That Kufra making sure that goes down like a spell, securing a kill over to that Tyson, but that is the last sanity being used from Michael. Okay, this time Julian using his combination, making sure he gets around in a disengage coming in from both of the teams. A 4v5 as of now. The turtle, I mean the Lord, is just going to be spawned in 28 seconds, and I don't think like Arzen will be back by that time.
And from the side of BKE, they're just cutting the lanes from the bot side because they have to make a good position onto that lot. Because if they don't, then the JT would actually get a good position and the map control for themselves. But we can see this Moscow in that bush. If the sphere of destruction doesn't land, it's going to be over for him. But I do think like Ere has spotted him, so I do think so. They want to go for the engage, but never mind. It's going to be the Moscow. He's hidden from that. Oh, but look at the Lord. They just want to melt down that Lord along with the easy and the creator. There's no Lancelot in the team fight along the sphere of destruction just marking down. But let's see. Oh my god, it secures the Lord along the lane's last insanity, giving a lot of damage. And the Lycan Pounce just takes the kill onto that Edith. It's going to the killing spree taken from that boy Ko. But the wind chant is coming in handy, but he still falls down into the hands of those three people.
That is the jump coming in from Kufra, making sure it gets safe, and that passive pops from the Aruna, but that is Hungry Wolf taking and securing the triple kill. Blade this time, he has an opportunity to secure a maniac for himself, and there goes the damage from the Roger, making sure the L goes down. A maniac wolf getting his hands on that maniac.
Oh my god, and this Lord, I do think they want to defend the Lord, but they're just waiting and getting those all the turrets because there's Valentina and the Kufra back into the game. So they would just casually deal a lot of damage and stop the Lord from crashing onto those inhibitor turrets. But meanwhile, onto the BKE, they're back as well to just force and get a lot of advantages with those Lords they've taken. And those enhanced minions, it's going to be a lot of trouble because they need at least one DHS with them to just melt down that Lord, but they will actually be successful in that. But the enhanced minions are still there to just give a lot of damage because they have a lot of HP.
That is true. That is true. And again, in the previous fight, the Lord fight, it was Team BK who had an upper hand because at the Lord pit, it was a 4v2 situation. We saw that. But the engage coming in from that creator, making sure he gets at least 3 members of Team BK into his penalty zone, and the jump coming in from Lancelot, it too reminded me of our game, like how I used to give you a free kills, and you're just slithering around and getting sure you get some kills. Meanwhile, we'll talk about it after a few games again.
And also, like both teams, they know that they're waiting inside the bush. And Array should most probably go for the engage right now with the Tyrant's Revenge, but he decides to just throw. Look at the Moscow's sphere of destruction. He just reveals the position of that Lancelot.
It was quite suspicious, the bush, and none of the teams at this point they want to engage it. Oh, wait a minute, Kufra might be in some trouble. Conceal play coming in, but to get that eyes and making sure he gets one member of Primal Breath being used. Moscow, not Moscow, but Lancelot is quite in the situation. That's one being used, making sure he gets one kill as Valentina goes down, and along with that, Kufra managed to take a 3-man ultimate this time. Roger going down as damage from Moscow is online, and it might be an end for Team JT. Again,
But
Team BK, they are just disengaging as of now, but imagine if that was a complete wiped out, and that might be the first game, a first lead for Team BKE.
But I don't think so it's going to be over because it's like two people and Creator he tanks a lot of damage and he's a Terizla. So the Moscow, I know his Trinity build is giving a lot of damage to that Kufra as well as that Creator, but he needs to be in a team fight properly, but he's just throwing those the sphere of destruction. But meanwhile, there's Capricuti inside those five people. He wants to steal the Lord. I do think it's some Kyrie moment happening at this point, but there's no Lord contest at this moment. We can see the Lord has been taken, but they want to go for the engage. The wind chant has been used from that Moscow. They want to go for the kill. The boy who is still there, and Aizen just casually poking down that Capricuti at this moment. They want to stop the recall, and they actually just defying them to just go back to the base because they have already secured the Lord for themselves without any sacrifice for in their team. And also, if we see from the side of JT, Creator actually sacrificed himself for that Lord, but yet they didn't got the Lord.
That is true. He did make sure he catch at least 3 or 4 members in his penalty zone, but all the members from BK, they knew what that creator was up to, and they definitely outplayed him in his own turf.
And that is true. Like the Lord is coming, and the tackle from that Lord is giving a ton of damage to that turret. And they're waiting patiently that Aizen, he's just casually just backing them off with the onward coming in. But the penalty zone along with the Aizen's revenge coming in, he wants to go for the rage. But meanwhile, last insanity has been used up from Boyko to give a lot of damage onto that creator. And the Lord has been taken. I mean, the base will give a lot of damage, but meanwhile, the last insanity from that Valentina as well is giving them a lot of damage. Meanwhile, with the Tyrant's rage and the revenge, they want to take the kill, but there's Moscow giving a lot of damage to that Lancelot at this moment.
That's true, and look at that. Moscow is just technically marking down that mage, but look at that Roger. He is just making sure he gets this double maniac in the same game again. A one for 4 this time in the hands of Team JD, but as the minions are marching down toward the JT's base, it is quite exposed. So I don't think so. Like they could probably take out or at least march their way into the enemy base from the mid side.
The question was, would they take the inhibitor turret? But I do think we failed to just predict that because they're not even going for the base or either the inhibitor turret from mid lane, which they could actually do. But Roger is still there, and I'm surprised that he got the second BNAC in the same game. But there's Aizen, which is going to be ganked by that Kufra and the Valentina. I do think so. They want to go for the engage, but the Roger and that is going to be a lot of damage, and the Primal Wrath has been used to just defend herself, and it's going to be a lot of damage taken. The boy who was just a bit late to defend her or his friend, but it's whatever, man, because they actually got the turret for themselves because there's absolutely no turret left for the JT to defend along with their base.
It is quite 20 minutes coming into the game, and we are seeing like the next Lord is going to be spawned in 20 seconds of the time span, and Aizen won't be that in that team fight unless and until they manage to delay it by for some seconds though. But again, the minions from each lane are just too enhanced, and Team JD, they need to just clear it to make sure the minions don't end the base. And Moscow is there to go and just split push, doing his own time, getting away from the team because he has his ultimate to join the team fight attack. He's a combination from the tag, and Capricuti will just casually evade from those combinations.
And also, like the Lord is keeping ready themselves, but the bouncing ball and the Firag armor will most probably be just popped out of nowhere, but he still doesn't have the immortality with him. The spear of destruction has been landed perfectly, which will be used as a good rotation for that Moscow. And this Lord, they're not even paying attention to those minions, then the Roger has to go and handle that wave pressure that the Moscow has given to him. And meanwhile, we can see this the whole team zoning coming in with the conceal play from that array. It's going to be either causing them some trouble, but the Moscow, they're going with the Moscow, and the Vincent has been used up along the Lansas insanity from that Valentina, and the Moscow falls into the hands of Valentina. They want to go for the engage, but the Aurora still doesn't have the ultimate along with the Winter Crown with her, and Terzla falls into the hands of that Primal Wrath, and the Capricuti takes the kill onto that Aurora, but the base, no one's looking at the base, but meanwhile we can see Easy is doing a lot of damage to that Julian, but Phil still fall into the hands of that Julian, and the Lord, it's been taken from Capricuti. They want to go for the overextend, but the Roger, he seems to be in some trouble, but the fast hands coming in from him will just give him a life with that immortality.
Look at the base of the JT, man. I mean, it is quite exposed, and the minions are just swarming there from each lane. Imagine if the minions didn't spawn. I mean, that was just technically too much minions. At least 4 to 5 from the bottom lane at the bases of the JT tower. If not for that minion spawn, that would have quite cost them the game, number one. But this time, the constant play from that Kofra along with that Capri Cutie, making sure he gets his hands on that Moscow in this late game, did make this team to get that hands onto that Lord though.
And also, it's an evolved Lord. So it's going to be too defensive and way giving a lot of damage to those minions and the turrets. So I'm excited what's going to happen right now. Either it's going to be a good defense turn from BKE, or it's either going to be game over to the BKE, because from the side of GT they have decided and played really well and have came back into the game. Because if they had a chance to end the game, but they didn't, they just wanted to go for the kills, and now they're facing the consequences of that. But meanwhile, we can see this the immortality been taken onto that, but the enhanced sword has been taken from that Julian. They want to go for an engage. As we can see, the Lord tackle perfectly handling, and there's full stacks onto that Edith to use the Primal Wrath, and she does use the Primal Wrath to just melt down that Lord.
That is true, and you are right about that Lord. That Lord is just too tanky along with the offensiveness damage, and the mid tower from Team BK will be exposed. And I think so they could technically, but now, no. I mean, it could probably the last fight for both of the teams. Conceal play coming in from Team JT this time. Kufra is just marching down, not marching down, but charging his first kill, but he won't be connecting it. Last sanity being used from this Xbox, and this time concealed play along with that. And that is the four-man engage coming in from Team JD. Penalty zone being used, and that is a lot of damage. But this time, the members of Team JD are just falling down like marbles. By one, a 0 for 1 trade. Capri Cutie is the all one left. Defend
Oh
this
my
base.
Oh my god. They actually got paid back. They have gone for the overextension, but let's see if the Capri does the 1v5 roll movement at this point. But we can see there's like 5 people marching down onto the base.
That is true, and he will be sure to make sure that minions goes down. But again, he is doing a lot of damage. That is the immortality being popped off from that Juliet, but the damage from that Aurora along with that Edith will be so lean enough to melt him down, and that is the minions along with the fireman of Team BKE making sure they get this base this time. The game number one in their hands.
And man, I feel so broke after like watching that Roger lose, man. He tried everything for his team. He literally got 2 maniacs in one game, and that's actually very impressive for a Roger onto the gold side. He just did everything as much as he could. And from the side of that Ari as well, like he was giving a lot of good sets along with the Tyrant's Rage and the Revenge. And the Lancelot was doing a lot of in out. He was trying to bait out that when chant from that Moscow so that Roger could actually engage and either use one like and pounce to secure the kill on him. But actually, that never happened.
That is true. That is true. But Kane, I don't think like it was that Kane who caused them too much trouble in the team fight because that freeze coming in from that Aurora was just too much of nuisance. Even like I do agree with Creator, he was not able to do much in the team fight because all he was just going down in the team fight. He was just freeze because that Aurora was making sure the engager gets freeze and he don't get to use his utilities to go and create some place for his team. But that is it, I believe, for this game, as we'll be back with the game number two with some short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting match. This is Legends Unleashed Championship, and to spice this evening, we have the Team BKE on the blue side taking on Team JT on the right side. That is Boyko Esports on blue side taking on John Tonsing on the right side. This is the game number 2 and this is the best of 5 series. The game number 1 has been taken away from Team BKE Esports. A very, a pretty good team fight though, and a pretty good match. That is the game number 1. And I'm Saskia, along with joining me on the custom set is none other than Silverrock himself. Moving on to the rough face, what you have to say about the bans? But would we be seeing a Roger ban, or would BKE will be taking it away, the Roger that is?
Um, I would be honest, like they will actually secure the Roger because they have the first pick. Unless the JT decides to ban it, but the Roger from the JT, the one playing or the Roger, like the number, the 791110, the guy playing the Roger, he was absolutely insane, man. The guy just got two VRX, man. I couldn't believe my eyes.
That is true, and in spite of that, it was quite painful to watch that they lose. Like you perform so well, and even in the end, you lose. It all those skills are just in vain because you lose a game and you lose a lead to make sure you get to win this best of 5 series. But again, moving on to the draft, we are seeing a high-low span coming in from Team BK this time. All the bans are quite standard, it seems, though.
Yeah, like, but if you mention that the both the teams have swapped their picks, so the bans itself will take action amongst this time because the last match, if you see, the team BKE, they were the one who were banning out Zuxian since they had the second pick. So the bans, they kind of getting their place exchanged among both the teams. And also, what do you think about as a third ban from the side of Chi team BKE at this moment? Because they have the first pick, so they will be the one planning the mind games at this moment.
Well, they could technically ban again the Zask, it seems, if they want to prioritize a Roger or a Ling for their own team. But again, we are seeing a Ruby ban for them. But again, inside of Team JT, on the right side, we are seeing a Julian ban, a well-deserved respect ban from the previous games. It seems, even in the early game, Julian had a lot of damage with him, and he was the one like melting down all the tanky along with squishy heroes. It seems, and retribution from that. Julian in the previous games were just one point.
That is from JT because he actually gave his a lot and he won every retribution fight against that Lancelot.
That is true. What is the final ban coming in? Oh, wait a minute. Again, Azaz ban coming in from Team JT, and this opens the Roger, the Ling, the Hayabusa, along with, I don't think so, like that. Oh, that is the Tesla along with that Edith, and without any hesitation, Team JT will be securing that Ling along with that Edith on Hyper, along with the core EXP lane, it seems, though.
And Capri Cutie just got that ling. So from that zing zing, we gonna just do that shing shing onto that ling. And also like this Roger and Edith from Creator. So both these heroes are kind of getting swapped among those both teams because Edith was onto the side of BK last match. So from the JT now they have decided to pick the Edith, and it's going to be the hero swap coming in like the Valentina and the Roger. It was like total hero swap onto the both teams.
I have to agree with you at this point again, but Boycott just making sure he don't make that hero swap. He's just locking his own comfort zone hero. That will be the Xbox this time. But again, Team JTT had the opportunity to lock down that Aurora for themselves, making sure they get this hero swap again.
And also, like, even if they go for the Aurora, the Sadgan, he would be just stealing that ultimate from that Aurora, but the Harith has been picked at this moment. Do you actually think that Harith is a good counter or perhaps a good laner against that Roger in the gold lane?
Well, not in the early phase, but once he gets his items, then technically he would deal a lot of damage. But I do have the high hopes for this game, this dude over to the turret, because we previously see how devastating his Roger was, creating a havoc in the land of Dawn.
That is true. Like, what if we even see the exchange gameplay from that Roger? Like, he'll be taking double Minax as well.
I mean, that would be quite nuts to see, but again, moving on to the ban phase, we might see they could probably. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to say, like, they could prioritize banning out the Minstar or other heroes, which are technically the counter for Harry, making sure he gets, an ease in the team fight along in the lane.
That is true. And also, if we see, like, there's a lot of mages open at this moment for the JT to pick. So, a mage ban could be a better option right now because we have seen a Vexana ban coming in the last match. So, I would also prefer a Vexana ban from BKE at this moment because still yet to pick the mage.
Well, Harith in the mid laner, I would not recommend it, but again, it is up to the team how they want to draft their own heroes along with the picks itself. But that is the Angela ban coming in from the side of Team BKE, a standard Angela Link combination. Along with that, it is quite be coming in handy. But again, wait a minute, there is the Kufra ban coming in from Team JT. I don't think so. Like, oh, that could create a havoc for Ling along with the turret. So, no, if they're not picking it, neither should you. Will you just panning it out, with that casualty? And that is the final ban coming in from Team BK. It is none other than Lilia. What do
Like,
you
I
have
was
to say
expecting
about
a
it?
mage ban. I was expecting a mage ban from BK at this moment, and yep, the Lilia ban, it speaks for itself. And meanwhile, Izzy, he wants to go for that Aurora as well, and it's going to be some plays coming in, like the heroes being exchanged among themselves. Like the Sadgan was playing Aurora last match, so Easy says like, I won't leave any hesitation, and I will just swap the heroes among you, and to show you how the Aurora has been played.
I mean, technically, in the previous game, Sadgain was playing an Aurora way too good. But again, I'm not quite surprised with this swap hero thing because we have like seeing it from 2 to 3 heroes in this draft. But again, wait a minute. If that Claude is in the gold lane, that means that Roger could be in the hyper section.
Your hero has come.
That is also true, but it means like the Roger would probably will have to go onto that semi-tank build with the Thunder belt on himself because there's Ling and Harit to just give him a lot of damage. And there's Aurora with the frosty breeze coming in from her. It would be just giving him a lot of CC because there's Edith, there's Ling along with, if he hits the Tempest of Blades right in the middle, it's going to giving him a lot of knockup.
No, that is true. That is true. And again, they'll be locking down that draft that is the PK Esports with Tigreal along with that Claude. Wait a minute. I don't think so. Like Claude on that retribution. Is it just to mock us the casters, or is it actually going to be the thing?
Well, I don't think so because they will be probably swapping out the heroes after that draft, but it's just to just make some mind games on us instead. But as we see, like, yep, the Roger has been swapped and the Claude has been given to the gold laner, and both of the teams have like the solid draft, and this array onto that jawhead.
Hmm, I don't think like it might be some trouble or issue over to that Claude because I don't think like he would be just possibly marking him down in the old team fight section. In spite of he is on that purify, I don't think like he will be having some issues as of now. But even in the early phase, like Tigreal and that Joy, they could just technically bully the enemy jungle, but I don't think so that would be the case.
Yep. And also, like, I'm expecting a really fast gameplay from Capri at this moment because the Lancelot, as he played from the last match, it was pretty cool to watch. Like, seriously, those Zing Zing were the perfect match and the openings he took. It was absolutely mind blowing, Sasuke.
That is true. From Zing Zing to my boy going to Shing Shing. Perfect rhyme for me. You should clap for me though.
That is true, but you can see like both the teams, they're just casually helping their junglers, and it's going to be the opposite rotation again. If after just looking on to the last match, I will think like it would be at least one rotation given on to both teams. But they're like leaving, like that trying to trade. Like if they want to go for the EXP lane, we'll go for the gold lane. It's kind of like a trade coming in from the both of the teams. But meanwhile, Roger and the Valentina, they want to go for the engage onto that Harith and either bait out that Purify from himself. And the Boyko, he's just casually giving a lot of damage to that creator with the open fire missiles coming in from him. But the Capri Cutie, the array leaves him a lot of farm with those smart missiles coming in from him.
That is true, and that is might be some trouble for the Raja. Wait a minute, that was just cool to watch. The freeze coming in from Aurora, making sure that Roger is freezing to the one position itself. But look at that early aggression onto the cloud, making sure that Harry stays inside the tower. But again, he has to go back at some point because there is the Jarhead who could just burst out his ultimate and be over your ass again. Tigreal doing some plays, making sure he gets it, but there is a throw from that Tempest of Blade being used, and this time I will be just bouncing it backwards to make sure he don't get himself killed in the position.
It was not a perfect Tempest of Blades from Capri Cutie, but he tried his best because the walls were just causing him some trouble because it was inside kind of like the wall, so the sword was stuck inside the wall. But never mind, but the turtle will be spawning in 2 seconds, and the creator just giving the vision of Boyko at this moment. They're just trying to poke and just get out that frag armor of that Xbog, and Tigreal, he should be just giving vision onto that turtle, but he wants to get level 4. But the mage is not level 4 instead. So they want to move, but the onward coming in from that Edith will give them some trouble, and Roger actually wanted to go for the contested turtle.
Okay, this time Array doing some damage, but that is the flicker combination from that. He is making sure he gets one of the two members, and that is the throw. Primal Brat, not Primal Brat, but I am you being used from such scene, but again a Primal Brat dealing some amount of damage, making sure he gets a triple kill, and that is the frag armor, not frag armor, but last insanity, making sure he gets the kill, but in the process he will be down again. A 1-for-3 trade in the early phase of the game. This time in the hands of Team JT.
And onto the top side, you see there's no Zaman Force onto that Harith. So, the Claude, he was trying to give a lot of damage onto that Ling, but he knows that Claude is still over there. He wants to go for the engage, but he was having some kind of communication trouble, and he wants to go for the engage again. He still has the Tempest of Blades with him. He's seeing an opening for himself, but the Implosion is still there to give him a lot of damage along with the Sacred Hammer has been used up. He's using the Tempest of Blades in a perfect direction, giving him an opening to escape.
That is true. And look at the fast hands combination from that. Not the combination, but the fast hands from that Claw, making sure he evades, and a beautiful implosion from that Arzen, making sure he protects his marksman from the threat of that wall walker Ling. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Boyko might be in some trouble as he don't have his shield, the frag armor. As of now, he's just calling towards the base.
And the array, he's baiting out that Tigreal so that he could use the ejector and eject him towards his team. So, but also it would actually backfire them because the implosion would come in handy. Like if he tosses him amongst his own teammates, he'll just use the implosion and bring his own teammates. Like, thank you so much, Array, from bringing me to his team and making my job easier.
That is true, and at that point, Array might be like, "Array, what did I do? Damn, it was not, and that not at what I was expecting." But again, the second turtle is spawned up in the land of Dawn. I mean, we might see a possible engage again, a Frosty combination being used from Easy, and look at that. The Cloud is just casually chunking out the HP from that Harith.
And this is Roger. He's patiently waiting for that. It is but the flicker engage coming in from that in the onward, and the last insanity will most probably will not be used. But the killing spree has been taken, and the turtle has been taken from Capri Cutie. They won't go for the engage. But this Satgan, he's waiting inside the turret. But this array, he's just getting baited. But the last insanity will be used along with the flicker to take the kill onto that array, and the Summon Force has been used up to give a lot of damage to the Scrawn who dashes, but couldn't take any kill from the team fight.
That is true. And the flicker engage from that creator is just 1 point. And those are some surprise initiative from that player, cutting 2 or 3 members off guard. Like he knows like there is someone, and wait a minute. I'll just preemptually just he just technically he knows like that is going to be a Frosty play coming in from Aurora if I just went in. So those are some micro plays coming in from both of the teams, which are up to the point. And even It is barely 5 minutes in the game, and this time, then Zaman Force being used, and the damage from that, Harriet is just too much, and I'll be making sure he gets the kill over to that Claude.
And the 1v1 situation was quite good to watch Sasuke. Like the Zaman Force, even after using everything, he actually couldn't do that. And onto the mid side, they should actually focus onto that Valentina because Tigreal was into the bot lane. They had enough time to gank onto that Valentina. Array is going for the engage with the Unstoppable Force and the ejector, and he will be probably using it, but he just got off out of the position. But the Divine Sword has been used up from wall. But the Frosty Breeze from Easy will be just freezing off that Aizen into the mid turret. They want to go for the engage, but they couldn't find an opening for themselves.
BK this time they are looking in some kind of trouble implosion being used on one members, and that is the Frosty freeze coming in from Aurora, and that Link will be just secure that kill over to that Aizen casually walking over the walls and will be retreating as of now. Meanwhile, Satkin making sure he gets the Frosty freeze, but Tempest of Late being popped up, making sure he gets the kill, and but no, wait a minute. He is retreating. He knows, like, I don't want to be hungry. I don't want to make sure they get something out of this team fight. I'll be just playing it a bit safe as of now. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Claude make sure he gets something out of that team fight. They catch the turtle, even though they lost team fight, and this time the third turtle is up, and it seems like it would be again an uncontested turtle for that team. Three turtles for team JT.
And I do think like the Cloud should have with the Roger, they should have gone for the tier 2 in the bot side because the Jawhead he was still rotating. Even if they had enough time to take the turret. And it was a good trade for that turtle, don't you think that?
It is, but again, no. Things like they need to go for it. Sometimes you need to back up in the mid if you are not engaging a team fight though. But again, Team JT making sure if they lose one turn, they will take out two in spite of winning the team fight. And again, in the bottom lane, Link manages to take down the tier 1 bottom tower. With that, the minions will just making sure that they push towards all of the lanes tier 2 tower.
That is true. Like Aizen is looking for an engage, but he's totally solo over there, and the pro Steve Breeze is coming in really handy, and the Jawhead just casually just baiting out the last insanity, but the Capri Cutie just dives inside with the Tempest of Blades and perfectly with the sword is too deep. He can't secure the Lord. Oh my god, the sword, and it's going to be the double kill taken from that easy, and the Roger falls down in the hands of that turret. They casually is going inside the turret for the kill, and they will be securing a mega kill onto that Tigreal. No way you can do that to a Tigreal, man.
That is true. I don't know. He did caught two members in the implosion of Flying Ling along with that Harith, I believe, but it got backfired because the backlines of Team BKE was just too dead in their graves, so no one could technically help him off at that point.
That is true, and they will get the free turret from the top tier too. Meanwhile, if they want to go for the bot tier, they could actually secure it by the link. He's just casually making sure a good position has been taken along with the red buff. Ellen is going for the red buff. He still doesn't know that Ling is still there to secure the buff for himself, and the Lord will be spawning into the 2 seconds. So if they want to go for the contest, the conceal play is the only viable option for themselves. Unless the Xbox wants to go with the last insanity, which it will be giving him a lot of vision. But there's Array to give them with the unstoppable force, and ejecting them towards his team. But it's just too much damage to tank. He couldn't even tank that much. It's going to be the blazing duet has been used up from that Cloud to give a lot of damage. The last insanity has been used to take the kill, but he doesn't have the Firag armor. It's going to be the double kill taken onto that L. And the Link just takes a lot without any hesitation. It's going to be the shutdown onto that Aurora, and the Tempest of Blades is used in a defensive way. He didn't want it to go for the overextension, but he still uses the defined swords. I don't think it's going to be some fast hand combos from that Link, but he couldn't even secure any kill in that moment. It would be like 4 people down in one team fight.
That is true, and overextend coming in from Team JD this time and making sure they gets only one kill, using all their resources over to that Tiger, which is a tank, basically initiator, which you should probably prioritize the last of your resort. But again, Ling was there to make sure his team get his this level 1 Lord, and again, Roger was just there in point, making sure you made a mistake, I'm there, fat with this time, making sure I will be melting you down and triple kill he secures. But again, this time he might be in some trouble as he counters the Zaman Force Iron, but he will be using it and in spite he will be going down as Aurora managed to secure a kill. Tempest of Blade being used over to that Sun King, but he will be just using his flicker to evade in that situation from that hands of Ling.
And that Ling is so fast in making those decision makings. It is pretty interesting to watch how that Ling is just playing for the team. And actually, even to the mid side, there's a lot happening with the Chrono Vision and the Chrono Dash from that Harith. It's just giving the Tiger a lot of damage. I do think even after building the magic damage, he still has the magic penetration to just give a lot of damage onto the bot side. We can see the Valentina has just stolen the ultimate of that easy.
Mhm. It is quite coming in handy as of now because even she could prioritize a primal breath, but again, in terms of CC, I do prefer a frosty breeze that the ultimate coming in from easy just to come in handy for his own team.
That is true. And onto the top side, we can see Capri Cutie just patiently waiting for someone to come. He's just waiting like a spider, like, come here and I will eat you. But he can't take any kill because they're still inside the inhibitors and the base. If they want to engage without any problem, so they will actually need this level 2 Lord for themselves.
They could probably beat it in terms, and there we go. Team BK this time moving in a five-man situation. That is the conceit play from that Jawhead, and again a Zaman Force being used, and this time Alpine might be in some trouble. That is 1 HP, but again he'll be safe. But this time Al is in that situation, but again he'll be safe and sound as he recalls, as he moves, and jumps towards his base. My oh my, that was some quite overextending coming in from both of the teams though.
It was actually engaged from the side of BKE. Like, he actually wanted to take the kill onto that Harith. And he actually got paid back from his team. Like, you don't touch my Harith. And he actually just escaped with that Chrono Dash coming in. And the Lord has been spawned. So the Ling, like the Boyko, still will be back into the team fight. But this Lord contest, it's going to be really brutal for them.
That is true, but again, this time, if BK loses any one members or more than two members to this team fight, it might be brutal for this game. So they could probably lose as a 2v5 situation might be a crucial for them, but they know like they will be just backing off because like Team JT they have already secured the Lord for themselves.
And it was like absolutely uncontested Lord. They could actually go with the conceal from that Aizen. But I do think they're saving it when the Lord comes and the Lord defends. So that even if they go for the overextension, he will be able to punish them with the implosion.
So for some reasons, I don't see like this game Team BK have contested for any of their objectives this time. Neither it should be a lord or a turtle, but again the lord has been marched down towards the enemy base, and that is the frosty fight along with an implosion connecting two members of the people, and that is the primal wrath coming in, making sure he gets the turtle. I mean the title, and that is the frosty beast CC coming in from that, making sure he gets a kill over the Vexana, not Vexana but the Valentina, but look at the damage from Team JD along with the Lord, making sure they get the base number two in the hands of Team JT, balancing off the score on a 1-1 scale.
And like they actually gave them the payback. Like they were like, even if you take the Roger, we'll beat you like you beat us in the last game. And like even after swapping the roles, this is the scenario that the JT felt in the last match. So even after just swapping the roles, a defeat was kind of, I would be biased if I see it's going to the victory on JT, just because they swapped the roles. But the Ling, he was quite exceptional onto those ultimates, and the Lord, like he didn't even focus onto the team fights. He kept his objective really fair. Like I have to take this slot for my team, while they actually just waste their time. And even after wasting their time, they die into that process. But he actually got the Lord for his team.
You know what? I have to say, like, whoever picks this Aurora is the victory because we are seeing the same thing happening in the game number one. They secure the Aurora for themselves in the mage and they won the game number one. Meanwhile, this time it was Team JT who secures this Aurora as their mage, and this time in the second game they won this. So again, I do believe it. If any of the teams want to go and take a win, like Aurora is a key as a mage because it provides you of CC along with those frosty things she does with her skills along with the ultimate.
That is true. And like, if I have to speak from the side of BKE at this moment, they really tried. The Claude actually tried us really well to just give a lot of damage to that blazing duet along with the wind chant. If he uses the wind chant really perfectly to just outmatch the damage of that Ling, but Ling actually always targeted that Roger and the Valentina. So that wind chant from that Claude, I do think it was kind of wasted at this moment. But the easy, just giving that frosty breeze along with that ultimate and the Jawhead ejector were too perfect to watch, man.
That is true, and surprisingly, I did saw any a sneaky snitch throw coming in from Joy this time because in the previous games I do saw like Joy throwing his own teammates even inside the tower just to bait his own teammates that.
That's true. Like, how have you just used the ejector to throw me inside the turret, man? But we're not just talking about this. And this is the game number 2, and we'll be seeing you after a short break.
And welcome back, viewers. We're back with game three between the exciting match. Both teams are head to head. The score is 1-1. And I'm your caster, Balderdu, joined by my friend Sarah, and we will be your casters for the next few games. And Sarah, what do you think? Who's gonna be taking the edge in game three?
And good evening, Baldo. Thank you for that introduction. And here we are going to see that Boyko, who played so amazingly in the first game, and then John Thompson with that amazing comeback in the second game. This is going to be a perfectly 50-50 head-to-head match. And in this game, if we look at the draft, we can see that John Thompson has already banned out that Julian. Meanwhile, Team Boyko has banned out on that chip.
And both teams are kind of respect banning instantly. They don't want to give their opponents their favored heroes. And maybe we might be seeing an Xborg ban because Boyko, despite the loss in the previous game, was a menace on that Borg. That Firaga armor and last insanity was really disrupting the formation of John Tonsing. And they have removed Boyko's Ruby. So, like, they've taken out because many Bengal teams favor that Ruby in the gold lane rather than taking a marksman. So, do you think they will again go for a double fighter meta, or will they stick to the standard draft?
Yes, as you mentioned, the ruby and the jawhead. In fact, here was a respect ban towards Doom, considering how well he managed to use those ejector plays in the previous game. And here, Team John Tonsing would be coming in with their third ban, which could in fact be a assassin ban, considering they would like to gamble on one assassin and ban away the other, since they have the first pick privilege in this game.
And right now they've removed the Zusian. And dude, with that, the options they have, the Ling is open, this Roger is open, and even the Zask, that Nightmare spawn and the amount of single target damage it does is just really, really heavy. And I don't think either team should let go of such a hero because on both sides it's just really annoying to gank a Zask. You need or you have to pick him off really hard to actually, completely secure a kill onto a Zask because he has that Nightmare spawn to escape into, then he can reposition that spawn and then he can follow it up with a flicker escape. So they've removed the Edith instead. So I don't think either team wants to give the chance of a double fighter because the second you take an Edith that can be flexed picked onto a gold lane of a sort, you will have a mid-tier marksman in the late game who does a lot of magic damage. So, what do you think? Will they pick up the Zask right now, or will and yeah, we didn't have to think about that for too long as Kakap has instantly picked up that link.
Yes, Capri Cutie on that lane, as we saw in the previous, very good gameplay coming in by the side of Team Jonathan saying with those comfort picks. Meanwhile, here Team Boyko will be the ones to pick up that Roger in the goal lane and Jask in the mid lane, which will be answered by that Xbox pick on the blue side.
And Easy has picked up the Aurora. The Aurora has been one of the most regular picks in this quarterfinals. Almost every game in across every team that has played so far in the quarters has picked up the Aurora in at least one or two games, and it gets banned instantly in the next game or contested by the opponent team. So that Frigid Glacier is gonna be a great option. In fact, even as a mage, like Zask has an escape skill where his Nightmare Spawn gives him an extra life. Aurora's passive will also offer her the same. So both mages have a little survivability, and it is not gonna be that easy to commit onto a gank onto either of them.
Yes, as you mentioned, the Aurora will also be a very good crowd controller, considering that Doom could go in for his support or his signature Kufra pick in the roam position. Meanwhile, Boyko has locked on onto that Yuzhong, who is actually a pretty good hero against the Xbox, at least in the early game. The once the Frag armor is out, the petrified plays could just be very well played in the EXP lane. And considering the second ban phase bans here, Team Boyko has gone ahead with another re- respect ban, which is the Harith, because we saw just how good Kami was in the previous game on that Harith. And Moscow has been taken out by the side of Jantan saying so no spear of despair will be seen in this game, no backdoors will be done. And the Hylos was the last ban coming in from the side of Team Boyko.
And right now, I think both teams need a roamer. So, like, do you think we'll be seeing a Minotaur from either of the teams, or it's gonna be that Kufra, Tigreal, interchange? Because those are the only two roams that are really performing well right now in the competitive scene. Or maybe a Grok, but there's a lot of true damage and magic damage from the side of Capri Cutie and team. So, but no, it's an Angela ban. I would actually have liked to Carp and team have made up a good ban and removed that hard guard from the Land of Dawn. At least for this game 3, we won't be seeing any Angela picks.
Yes, the Angela will once again not be picked by either of these teams. I do believe that Du was trying to get the Angela pick in the previous game, but Boyko was just smart enough to ban it out. So no more Eagle Doom for any of us, no entertainment. But then again, the Matilda was picked up by the side of Boyko. There is enough front line coming in from that Yuzhong as well as the Jas spawn in his ultimate phase. And here we can see that their last pick could actually be a tank jungle or a fighter jungle such as the Alpha. Team John Tonsing though here they are hovering over what to pick in the roam position because Claude has already been locked and Doom might just lock in on that Grok, the
And
global Grok this season. That is a very good pick coming in from the side of John Tonsing.
And right now, yes, we did expect a Grok pick on the roam, but the Matilda has been taken up because Boyko's team has a lot more sustain with that Yuzong, with that Roger, with that Zac, so they can afford a support pick. Meanwhile, it is almost mandatory for Doom and team to pick up that roam, a hard tanker like Grok who can dish out and sustain some damage. Also, his passive will allow him to bait out some CC skills if he times his unstoppable charge on that, not as unstoppable charge, but that S1 on time. So let's hope to see some great barrier plays trying to bait out some dash skills from both teams. And we're into the loading screen, and Warcry being picked up by both the junglers. The other teammates are still both the roamers and all very standard emblems to pick up. Nothing really interesting to talk about. So right now we're headed into the Land of Dawn between John Tonsing and Boyko. Game 3. Which team will take the edge? Sarah, whose draft do you like more in this Game 3?
You know, biased towards Jonathan saying there are friends in that squad, but then again, in this game especially, we can see that Boyko's draft is actually very, very interesting. That Yujong with the front line, Matilda on that Purify will have that dash for the rest of her team. And look at her, she's already playing into Capri's jungle. And though she will fail to secure the buff because Capri is just timed his retribution and his sword perfectly. She is hovering around there though, trying to basic attack, and she manages to steal away that EXP from the small grave.
And right now L is starting up that Litho wand, and he picks it up with retribution. But Doom is there hovering near mid lane. Both of the roamers are constantly around mid because I think they realize they can't truly win a fight on either lane. Okay, that was a pause, but we know both teams will not be winning really heavily on either lane without that support. Meanwhile, on bot side, look at Bakimath putting a huge amount of damage onto that Claude, and he's trying to
We're
freeze
gonna
him out.
need a technical pause. It has been requested by Corey, so we're gonna have to pause the game for a minute. Let us wait and see what the issue is. Technical glitches coming in.
And that is something we see frequently coming in. That lane freeze. So that Claude will struggle with that lane freeze happening. And but we can see on that map that Ling is nearby. But there's also an invade near bot top side. There's a lot on the mid side. So there's gonna be a lot of action the second we unpause right afterwards. So what do you think, Sarah?
I do believe that it's some kind of a network error coming in by the both teams. It is was Oil, of course, it was Jonathan Singh who had that era. But then again, we will be back in another 30 to 40 seconds. Considering the map positions right now, it's very average, though we can see that the Hayabusa is playing inside of Jonathan Singh's jungle. So there could be a possible gank either in the gold lane as Ling is rotating towards that Roger, as well as, Hayabusa trying to engage on that Aurora in the jungle area.
But both of them, all of the teams so far have their battle spells, except the retributions on either jungler. So I think Roger would probably get caught out if he doesn't purify the Tempest of Blades knockup. But otherwise, I think he should also be able to get away pretty safely. Maybe they could bait out Aurora's passive or a flicker onto Doom, because Doom is really low on HP right now if you look up at the display. And the match will be resuming within a few seconds. And let's go right into the mid lane as the OEG Shadow Kill has been used. Flicker being baited out by this Aurora. Aurora's flicker has been baited. Aizen trying to pick up a little more damage but does not succeed and ends up taking a hit from the turret to dissuade him from pushing for more as he recalls.
Yes. And then again, as we can see, there is an engage between Capri Cutie and L on that Ling versus Hayabusa in the jungle area. Capri will be missing that second skill, but Retribution was used up. Haya in bit of a danger. Tempest Blaze has been used up by the Ling just to escape. Grok trying to secure the kill onto that Haya, but he will be escaping safely.
And that was a really a high level display of mechanics from the side of Hayabusa as he timed that shadow perfectly, to use the best benefit out of it. He used it just once and he instantly escaped to safety. And that is a really great display by the jungler from Boyko. And Kakap was failed to secure the kill, but he also managed to make it out safely. Both junglers are trying to take away some of their buffs, and we will probably start seeing a fight towards the turtle as most of the members from both teams are hovering around there.
Yep, and as we can see, the Grok trying to provide vision onto that turtle, Matilda trying to pull it towards their side, but we'll just walk away. And here, as we can see, Matilda giving the vision onto that Grok and Aurora, which means that Team Boyko is going to play it a bit safe. And the Yuzhong trying a bit of a skirmish on that Grok, who will be chunked down pretty low, almost to half his HP. Black Dragon form has been used up. Matilda trying to zone Aurora and Array away from that turtle, and the Retribution battle will be won by the Hayabusa, but he will be taken down by Corey instead. Array trying to walk away from that engage by the side of Team Boyko, but he will lure away 3 people back into their jungle before finally dying.
And I think he's bought a decent amount of time because Hayabusa also fell in that fight despite securing the retribution. The gold is still in the favor of Boyko's jungler though. But EXP wise, I think both teams are pretty close. Kakap will get that level 7 slightly before, but it's not too much of a hassle. Meanwhile, Kakap is diving on to this Aurora Frigid Glacier being used, and she gets killed. The Matilda has to fall right now. Meanwhile, OG Shadow Kill being used up by this Hayabusa, but there's just almost no damage as Doom tanks it really comfortably.
Yes, Doom there just chilling around in the river area for now. Meanwhile, in the gold lane, if we see though, it is actually the Roger who's ahead in gold, ahead by 200 gold in front of Gami. But then again, we can see that there is a possible engage in the gold lane as Grok and Aurora are there to camp up. But Jas is well aware of that, and look at his positioning. He's just not going to travel through that bush. He's trying to bait that small camp so that it provides him some vision. And meanwhile, in the EXP lane, there's absolutely nothing going on. It's a pretty dead.
And look at the bot side. Look at the bot side. A beautiful Frigid Glacier being used, and this Hayabusa will have to disengage. Will he be able to escape? No, Kakap is there, but no, he dives down instead, and he will not be getting that kill. And right now, he gets poked really low. Lycan Pounds being used, but a beautiful Tempest of Blades, Purify being used by that Roger, as he would have gotten caught out. And both junglers escaping with just a sliver of their HP and no action, no kills from either side. But right as I speak, the Claude breaks the curse as he gets a kill onto Aizen. Meanwhile, on the top side, this Yuzong is sneaking in a tower, And right now that turtle is being contested, but look at Doom dishing out that damage, but he's also getting poked out by the nightmaric spawn, but he zoned it out enough. Will Kakap be able to get this retribution? Yes, he does. He lands the retry and secures the turtle for John Tonsing. But a beautiful wild charge by that Grok, CCing him down. Flicker baited out by Doom as he escapes to safety. Dusk has no mana and he will have to disengage. Look at Kakap, he's trying to find another fight. His Tempest of Blades is online, but he gets poked out once again. Dude, there is so much poke happening on both sides, but no team is really getting a proper team fight, like a proper advantage on either side.
And oh my god, that wild charge coming in from Doom was absolutely insane because that Haya, he used up his ultimate and he did not have his dash, and that was like the perfect stun which the side of Jonathan he could have used. But look at Yu Jong's positioning. He's just sitting there waiting for Capri to take his buff. He would have tried to engage, but he did not. He did actually have his petrify, but his team just wasn't there to provide the backup which he needed to get a kill onto that lane, who in fact did not have his ultimate. But then again, this just means that Cup gets some more time to farm up, and once he does, no matter how much healing that Matilda is going to do, the backlines of Team Boyko are going to be in danger nonetheless.
Exactly. Also, neither of these backlines, have, like, except for the Zask who has a flicker, that Roger will suffer as he's only on a purify. And there's only so much CC he can purify because that Grok is there, so is that Tempest of Blades. And that purify will not be enough to put him to safety unless he builds something tanky onto him. And we're seeing a Windtalker first item onto this Roger. Meanwhile, Borg has made a first item of that Dreadnought armor because that Yuzong is really poking him out. And right now that Yuzong is comfortably winning his lane against Creator because of the early game damage that Yuzong's kit provides. Meanwhile, look at Yuzong. He is there at bot side. I don't think they've got the vision onto him, but finally he gets, shown away. Meanwhile, look at this Roger, man. He's split pushing really hard, and he's gonna be joining towards the turtle.
There will be a turtle skirmish coming in the river area, but Black Dragon form has already been used up by that boy Ko, and the turtle is at half of its HP. The Hayabusa and Link, they're just gonna wait out for their teams to leash out on that turtle. Circling Eagle will be used up by that Matilda. Cup jumped down very, very low by that Jask ultimate, and Haya will be the one winning the retribution battle. The fight is still not over though. Corey trying to run away, like in Palms being used up right under that turret, but it will be Doom who managed to secure a kill onto that Yuzhong, who was too far deep inside that turret.
And with that, I think it's a win for Team John Tonsing. But right now, as we speak, look at that. The Roger diving super, super deep, and Hayabusa picks up a kill. The Uiji Shadow kill being used, and Doom, both the mid laners of, the John Tonsing have to fall. But Kakap is there to provide support, and Creator, with the help of his jungler, picks up a kill once again onto this Hayabusa. The junglers are really trading lives, man. But Kakap is managing to escape with his Tempest of Blades. So far, John Tonsing in terms of kills is ahead, but in terms of map pressure, I guess Boyko is doing a much better job with pushing out 3 turrets. All the tier 3s have been eliminated.
Not to mention that the goal lead is actually in favor of Boyko. This game is going very 50-50 because Roger is far, far ahead in gold compared to rest of anyone. And there was an engage onto that Yuzhong once again in the bot lane, but he will be using his Black Dragon form just to escape away.
And dude, look how much damage that Ling has dished out. He didn't use this Tempest of Blades and he nearly popped out this, Boyko on at YZ. He had to use his Black Dragon form to not take in any more damage, because if he did not escape outside that map for those few seconds the Black Dragon allows, he would have picked up. And right as we speak, Boyko has used, Boyko's team's jungler L has used his OG Shadow kill and picks up a kill onto Aurora. Aurora not having a great start right now. She's at 1-2-1 and she's also lost her lane. So there's a lot of pressure onto her, as almost every member of Boyko can solo dive her right now because of their kit.
Yep, as you mentioned, and as we can see in towards the mid lane, though, a bit of a skirmish between that Matilda and the Grok. Matilda just trying to poke away that Grok with her excess of the first kill. And then we can see that Matilda and Jask are actually poking out the Lord here. Is Team Boycott trying to take advantage of the situation that not all members of Team John Thonsing are here? But then again, the Lord is very, very low. Creator using his ultimate, but no, it will be higher. Who is the retribution battle? Tempest of Blaze being used up in the river areas. Cup has been stunned in the middle lane, and Matilda will be the one taking him down. Aurora and Area's in danger right on the turret as well. That Yuzhong jumping in very deep. Stun has been used up onto that Baki mud, but no, they will be going away with the Lord secure and the jungler from the side of John Thonsing dead.
And right now, John Tonsing is not having a great time as Boyko and team are completely having, that full tempo is on their side. That Roger is going to clean up the final tier 2 turrets within 12 minutes. Less than 12 minutes, the entire tier 2s from both sides have been popped. But meanwhile, on the bot side, they're trying to secure, just try to melt that Lord before it releases their inhibitor. They don't want, any more damage or giving an opportunity for the Zas to ult them inside their own base. Tempest of Blades was used at the top lane, but that Roger was just too tanky right now. He has too much gold. He's had 9k gold, man. Look at that Roger's gold. He's had such a great farming
Yeah,
experience.
he's
Every
going
turret.
on for that Grey Dragon Spear, and I do believe that his last item is going to be a Blade of Despair, or in fact the Thunderbolt, and that's just going to make him more and more tanky.
And oh yeah, a concealed play being popped. A beautiful wild charge, 3-man caught. The Frigid Glacier secures a kill onto the Hayabusa, and Hayabusa falls right now. That Baki Mirth is zoned out alone, but his Black Dragon form of Boyko was able to keep him out. Meanwhile, Doom taking a huge amount of damage, and Yuzong's passive, that Shah Residue, will pick him off. But right now, look how low this Claude is, but he backs out. Tempest of Bling being used aggressively. Kakap diving in really hard. He doesn't wants to pick up every single kill possible. Will that be a double kill? No, beautiful Matilda's ult. That was sheer mechanics, man. Look how he dodged that. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful display from both teams.
Cap did miss out on one of his swords, otherwise I do believe it was a kill secured onto that Matilda. But that circling eagle coming in by Matilda was just absolutely crazy, and it was a very, very good escape coming in. But the Lycan Pounce missed Cap and actually aimed in onto that Letho Wanderer in the river area. That was really funny to watch.
I know, right? It happens on Roger, man. Sometimes you get a little too excited, and there's been team fights where the opponent was really low, and I accidentally invaded S1. The Lycan bounced on their buff instead, but luckily it was nothing too that too crucial, as Kakap was still at full HP at that point. He could escape, but look at that damage! A single basic attack of that Roger taking up almost 15 to 20% of this Aurora's HP. And right now, a beautiful wild charge defensively being used, but Easy will have to fall. That Aurora's passive also being exploded and exposed. The base will be sieged as of now. No, they will not. But look at Boyko, beautiful petrify play being used. He will bait out this Tempest of Blades, and he is still diving onto this Ling. Is gonna zone this Ling away from his blue buff. Ling really trying, and he's used up his retribution, and it'll be a free Lord from the side of Boyko. Circling Eagle being used once again, a beautiful knock-up, and this Claude falls once again. That Lycan Pounce damage, man, it's just too much. But a killing spree being picked up by this Borg on top side, but he's left all alone with no support, as he will also fall. A shutdown taken up by Aizen. My god.
Damage in the mid lane alongside that Lycan Pounds and the Shuriken coming in by that Hayabusa. Kappa here, he will be trying to chunk down the Lord by a bit, as much as he can do before the side of Team Boyko just comes and ganks him, and here the Matilda is already here. The Circling Eagle has been used up onto him. He does still have the Tempest of Blades, and he will have to pop it right before. And you know what? He actually manages to kill the Lord down to like 1% of his HP, which is a big deal. And he is walking straight up to the enemy's base, but I do think he will be dying here. And the Matilda actually gets the killing spree.
And I think he was trying to get a false dive, false kill, because it shows up as the base killing that Ling, and he will not be given any gold. Neither the opponents will not be given a gold. But right now, that was all for naught, as Matilda picks up the kill. And meanwhile, last insanity being used differently. The Lycan Pounce dishing out a lot of damage, and Wild Charge misses. Doom was just not close enough. Maybe a few more pixels, he would have landed that hit. But right now, the 5 members of Boyko marching down the base, and there's nobody to clear these lanes, man. A beautiful two-man Petrify being used up with the furious dive by Yuzong, and Easy nearly falls down. The base being sieged up. Roger takes up the pieces. The eighth just crumbles. And game 2 goes in the hand of Boyko. These underdogs are doing an absolutely clinical display, man. Look at them. Every single game of theirs, they were the underdogs, but they are coming out on top right now because they take match point in game 3.
Absolutely. And then again, now the score settles for a 2 in favor of Boyko and 1 for that John Tonsing. And it will actually be Boyko takes the win in the second game. And we'll soon be back with game number 4. We might actually see 5 games tonight. So everyone do wait up because this is going to get even more interesting.
And welcome back, viewers. We have game 4 on the way. The draft is has begun, and right now match point is held by Boyko. Will they be taking home this qualification to the semi-finals, or will this game extend to a game 5? Both teams will be looking for their own win with John Tongsing and Kakap trying to edge and take this to a game 5 and make a comeback. But Boyko is looking to seal the deal. They have the first pick, so they have that advantage on their side, and they have banned out this Jawhead. And Sarah, what do you think John Tonsing needs to stage this comeback right now, because it doesn't look good for them?
Yes, as I mentioned in the previous game as well, John Tonsing needs to pick up those comfort heroes. We know that Insane wasn't in the game for a long time and he needs some comfort picks so that it's not as rusty as his other picks, which we saw in the first game. But then again, Team Boyko is some force to be dealt with. Look at those respect bands coming out from them. The Jawhead, the Edith, all the picks which got Team John Thonsing the win in the second game. Meanwhile, they are instead sticking with the typical Julian ban, and we can see that they're gonna go in for a second ban, probably the Roger or the Hayabusa, which was too much to be dealt with in the previous game.
Exactly. It could be that Roger, it could be the Hire, it could also be the Zuzhan, and they want to stick to the same bands. But I don't think that's the right idea, because if you stick to the same old draft and it wasn't working in the previous games, on what basis do you think it's going to work in game 4? Because it's not like the team will match, the opponents are magically going to become noobs. So they will have to change something up, or they will have to change their tempo in the game.
Yep, but now as we can see, Team John Thonsing actually went ahead with the Ruby ban. That is also very justified because the Ruby in the first game was another threat which Team John Thompson faced. Now it's the turn for Team Boyko. They have two options here. They can either ban out on a meta pick and gamble on the rest with the first pick privilege, or they could ban out something completely unconventional and watch out watch out for the other picks which would be left open. The Roger, Ling, Hayabusa, Jas, Jukshin, everything would be open in the current meta.
And there's even that Terizla open. Right now, Boyko has removed that Roger because they want to pick up something really strong in that first pick, but they don't want to give up that Roger. Because we've seen most teams, if they don't get the Roger, their second pick is almost always that Roger is snatched up almost immediately. There's almost no hesitation before this swap. It's like they have it ready. Bhai, agar ye pick nahi kiya, to I will be taking it up. And that Zask is banned, and you have the Ling open, you have the Zuzhan open, and the chip is also open. So will we be seeing a chip first pick? Because we have seen Boyko Steam do a great job on it. Aizen did use that chip in one of the games and did a great job on it.
Yep, and as I mentioned, Team Boyko did ban out on that Roger, and now they have the Link and the Hayabusa, both of those heroes very open and ready to be picked. But then again, they could go ahead for a fighter pick, such as the Yuzhang or the Terizla. The Yuzhang in the previous match, that positioning was just absolutely precise. You invading those buffs, the petrified plays to bait out the Tempest of Blades. And here we can see that there's the last 3 seconds. And as I was going to mention, they did pick out on that Jokshin, which means that now the Hayabusa, the Ling, Chip, and all of those picks are open for the side of Team John Tonsing instead. I do not know
And that
what they are planning here, but yeah,
no, no,
please carry on.
dude, that chip has been picked up. I feel Izzy is trying to just mess around right now, showing us that Johnson. But I think they're just trying to wait for one of his teammates to swap up a jungler. It could probably be a Ling or Hayabusa swap. Because I don't think a Lancelot is a great choice against that Zuzhan, but instead they have picked up the Harith, because that Harith is getting banned out in the second phase for sure. So they want to avoid that, and they picked up the Harith instantly. And I think that's a really solid pick, because Harith is a decent laner against almost most marksmans and even EXP gold laners right now, like the Edith or Ruby, which are both banned. So the Harith is a solid choice. And meanwhile, Ling has picked up by L. He does not hesitate and picks up the L. Meanwhile, Baki Mard on those last few seconds has picked up this Borg. And both of them are showing their retribution, but I think it's quite obvious we're not going to be seeing a Ling in the EXP lane. So the jungler will be L for now. And right now, the draft wise, I think we don't have to worry much about the CC because that Zuzhan alone is gonna provide enough CC for an entire team by herself. Creator, on the other hand, thinks that his team doesn't have enough CC, and that final slash provided by that Orlot will be secured by him with a flicker, and instantly in the second phase of banning, that Moscow is taken out. Sarah, do you think they're gonna ban out? Oh no, they have banned out the Valentina. I'm not getting time to speak, but yes, Sarah, please take over.
Yes, these teams have become just too familiar with each other's drafts, and they're just going to ban out on that Minotaur, Valentina, as well as the Moskov. Corey on that Arlord is known to be especially good, and Team John Thonsing is actually cosplaying John Thonsing, which is Mirio. He's going to be playing from the side of ABM against Team Lakshmi Chit Fund tomorrow night, exactly at the same time. So don't forget, tune in, everyone. And looking at the draft here, the Lilia has been banned out by Team Boyko. Is Team Boyko trying to watch the stream chat and ban out on that Lilia? I'm kind of not sure because our viewers were very excited about that Lilia pick. But now we're gonna have to wait and see what Team John Thonsing picks up in the second phase.
And dude, there's been like 3 mage bans and EXP bans, EXP roam bans. So, it's gonna be tough for both roamers to well, at least Chip has been picked up by Doom. But we'll have to see what Aizen will pick up because he has to take something of a tanky nature because the Zuzhan needs someone to, keep her in the fight. Otherwise, if she takes too much damage, she will get zoned out. So let's see. Izzy instantly locks that Faramis, and I think that's a really great choice because when you commit with a chip, the last thing you want to face is a Faramis, but you want one in your team because in case your backliner gets dove on something like Carmilla ult, that Faramis pick is a great preemptive choice. Because I was gonna suggest Aizen to probably pick up the Carmilla because a Carmilla is a great counter against chip comps. It's literally the best counter against a chip comp. You throw your ult, the Curse of Blood, onto the portal, and then you just watch the enemies get melted.
Yep, as you mentioned, the Kamala would be a very good pick here. And the Caster's Curse coming in as Team Boyko seems to be hovering between that Kamala and the Hylos pick. And then again, the Lunox has also been picked up. And yep, the Kamala is picked up as well. So rest assured, it's going to be a very deadly team fights. And for everyone's entertainment here, Capri Cutie, Cap Insane is on that Fanny. The Fanny is online in the fourth game of this match.
And Fanny has picked up that aspirant skin and he aspires to bring his team, lead his team to victory, trying to stage a comeback. And right now, Sarah, there's almost no CC on the side of Boyko to effectively catch this Fanny out. So as long as she gets her buffs and she's not invaded, which I think Chip will do a good job protecting her, we will have a really, really exciting fight on both sides because there's so much CC set up from the side of John Tonsing. But at the same time, it's just so much burst potential and, brawl potential from the side of Boyko. And we're gonna have a really exciting match right now as we enter the land of Dawn. The emblems again, I'm looking through them all, and there's nothing super really interesting to look at. It's something really standard on both sides. Chip is going to be a menace with his shot.
Yes, as you said, and both junglers are going to be starting in from their blue buffs. Jukshin and Lunox leashing out on that blue buff for the Ling. Meanwhile, Fanny is already at his red. He will be rotating towards the goal lane. You know what I like about the draft of Team John Thonsing is that they have the early game burst from coming in by that Fanny as well as the Faramis a bit in the early game. But for the late, we have that Harith and the final slash coming in from All Out, which will be a very good answer to the crowd control coming in by the Bloody Curse. And once again, a pause has been requested by Corey, so we're gonna have to wait out for a minute or two as both
And
of
dude,
these
for a
teams
second,
just
I
come
thought
online.
I pressed the pause. Dude, for a second, I thought I pressed the pause because I was trying to look at the gold chart to see like what's going on, and I panicked for a second. I'm like, shit, did I press the pause by accident? Because it my finger was right next to the pause button when it happened.
I know that happens, but I do believe that the Alot is AFK for now, and we will be waiting for him to come back online. So it's gonna be a minute or two of pause, as mentioned in the rules, typical formality. But now we are going to see. Looking at the map, though, there's not much going on because both teams are just going on with that, the standard rotation and stuff.
Also, look at this Ling. Is he trying for an invade or what? Because we see both the camps have been cleared out by this Ling really fast. At least he's taken off both the buffs in a really quick amount of time due to his team's peel. And he's moving towards that EXP crab, probably trying to stage up a gank onto this Fanny.
Yes, the Fanny, he's actually farming up alone, and I do believe that he's going to go in the goal lane and try to secure a kill onto that Lunox before the light ult gets activated in this game. Meanwhile, Chip and that Faramis will be rotating on towards the EXP lane to provide some backup or for the just to the clear up the lane so that the Xborg and the Link cannot chunk down the turret shield gold.
And I don't know, this match we're gonna be unpausing soon. We're gonna be resuming this match, and we'll have to see will Kakap secure his blue. If I'm not wrong, he still hasn't taken his blue, right?
Yeah, the blue, it's actually no, it has been taken by Kakap, and that's why he's going towards the goal lane, right? I can see the green heels just lying there from the caster's desk right here. But I don't know in how much longer Corey will be back in this match. I'm just waiting for a reply from him for now.
And viewers, in the meantime, this is gonna be probably a deciding game for both teams in a sense, because if Kakap manages a comeback, they will have the tempo in game 5, or they will fall into the lower brackets. So please share, subscribe. Meanwhile, look at that Eisen going in a little deep. Like he's really confident as a Carmilla with the heal it provides. Meanwhile, Sargent is trying to put in a lot of poke onto Easy. And right now, look at Baki Mard, man. He's actually somewhat winning the early lane phase by himself, but he has to watch out for this Fanny. He can't be going in that aggressively without his ultimate up yet. And Kakap is right there, but meanwhile, a first blood being picked up in mid lane while we were looking at that gold lane.
PQT once again as he manages to secure a kill with that Fanny in the mid lane itself. Easy did go down there, but then again, Cap was there right back to answer that kill for with another kill.
And looks like a shortcut play will be coming up. If 4 people on the top lane, flicker has been used up by Bakimar, but those cables are there. The stun is online. That Lunox tried to sustain a lot with her S1, but it's just not possible under the siege of such damage from the cables of Fanny. The steel cables are just too much to avoid as he begins his red buff. Meanwhile, the turtle is gonna be picked up by Boyko. L is having a great farm start. He is gonna be taking this turtle uncontested. Meanwhile, Creator doesn't have his final slash yet, so I don't think it's the right choice. And yeah, he got zoned out and was forced to use his flicker. Meanwhile, they're gonna be an invade by Boyko and team onto that blue buff. They wanna keep Fanny offline. They don't wanna keep her in this battle for long. So it's gonna be a beautiful retry battle, and it's secured by L. The steel cables being used left and right, but he just doesn't have enough energy as he backs off to clear up some jungle. So at least the threat of Fanny has been addressed for at least a minute or so, and Lunox will feel a little safer while she's laning.
But as you mentioned, this just means it's a back set for the side of Team John Thompson because Fanny without a blue, very risky to be played. And there's an engage coming in onto that Carmela in the a top lane and a three-man bloody curse, but no one there from his team for the backup. And creator, I mean Corey on that other, and they will just be going back to their respective lanes. And on the EXP lane, though, he's actually winning his lanes. Final Slash being used up on that Xbox, but that Xbox is just tanky enough to survive this Wrath coming out by that Final Slash.
And look at that, Doom did dive into that bush, preventing the recall and also baiting out the flicker of Boyko as he nearly fell. And that's gonna be a lot of gold shield being picked up by Doom and Creator. That two frontline duo of John Tonsing taking up a great start right now. But overall, I think in control of the mid lane, Sadjin on that Zujin is having a great job. He's having a comfortable laning experience. That Paramis cannot come close to poking him down.
Yep, that's another advantage because Faramis is a pretty mid-range mage, and Jukshin has way too much of range as compared to the Faramis. And as we can see, there's a possible engage into the goal lane. Gami trying to secure a kill onto that Lunos. The light ult will be popped. Flicker was also baited out. Gami will be the one securing the kill against that Lunox.
But that Zujin is there and she is gonna displace that Harrod back to the respawn point. Meanwhile, Fanny surprisingly does not get invaded. I thought for sure that Ling will be using his retribution onto that blue buff, but he instead opts to go for this turtle. He doesn't land the retry on time, but a beautiful clump by this thing. Cult turtle being used by Faramis. That Creator is on the back line, fully dives Boyko out, and he has to flicker out, but he will fall. No, he doesn't. A beautiful vengeance play. He's using that vengeance left and right, but he just gets displaced by this Zujin, and she's just a menace, man, against any frontliner. Meanwhile, a beautiful amount of damage by Lunox as she picks up a double kill despite falling twice in the early game. She's got these 2 kills to bring her gold right back up to the top for her team.
That's just the advantage with which the Jukshin has. Like even in a team fight, if she is not stunned for even once, her passive is just going to stack on you, and she's gonna throw you left and right. And look at Cap here; he's gonna try and secure Link's blue, and that's what a turn of tables because Cap has managed to secure that blue, which means that Link will not be having his blue. Meanwhile, in the EXP lane, we can see Creator and Boyko battling it out in the middle of nowhere. It's a no man's land for them technically, but it will be used up. Lasting insanity was used up to just to run away. Easy trying a probable engage, but he will be backing off. Cup missing a bit of his cables, and he does not have energy to land that cutthroat onto the Xbox. Otherwise, he was as good as dead here.
And a 2-man Curse of Blood being played out, the Cult Altar using to negate the Curse of Blood, but the damage is just too much. L escaping with a sliver of his HP. That burn from Faramis's passive nearly taking out the jungler of Boyko. And right now, the jungler, in the terms of jungle wise, I think Kakap is having a better start. But L is close behind. It's not like he's struggling in the jungle. He is still picking up the turtles and keeping his EXP afloat. Also in gold. Meanwhile, on the top side, the gold lane, this Doom is diving. The Chaos Assault was luckily not baited out yet, but the light form of Lunox will have to go. But the cooldowns of these heroes are just so short, man. It's gonna be back in the next few seconds.
Absolutely, and you know what? The Harris is actually winning his lane. He has the maximum gold out of both the teams, and look at those ganks coming in by that chip. Bakimuth is just way too zoned out to try and protect his lanes. Meanwhile, Boyko will my final slash being used up as Boyko secures the tier 1 in the bot lane, which means that this is going to be a 5 versus 5 fight for the third turtle of the game. 30 seconds before the Lord pops up if the turtle is not taken. But Jukshin trying to stack up her passive there. A bit of neutral plays, not much of an engage. CU cables being used up, but they're just gonna brawl it out before the turtle. That was an insane team fight coming in by both the teams. That final slash was very, very accurate. And even the chip ultimate helped the side of Team John Thonsing to manage and secure a kill onto Aizen on that Carmilla. Luno's trying to defend the mid lane here as Array is actually signaling his team to start up on the Lord. But I do believe that the Lord this early, especially when it's a Fanny on their jungler, it wouldn't be such wise of a decision.
You need that Zaman force to, actually do any kind of meaningful damage onto this Lord. And that Lord is absolutely melting this chip.
Yep, the true damage coming in by that Lord is way too much, and there was a perfect engage onto that Harith in the top lane, and he will be taken down by the L on that lane. And here we can see that the chip is in a perfect positioning to use up his ultimate. Borg trying to chunk down on Corey so that he cannot use his final slash, but the Lord has been secured by Cup. He manages to win this red repair, much to our astonishment, I would say. But then again, the cut auto being used by that Faramis to counter the Kamala ultimate, but Capri Cutie managing to secure a kill onto them. Harith going wild and managed to secure a kill onto that Kamala, and Jukshin and Lunox have been taken down in this fight as well.
And dude, that comeback is really, that is not something we expected. That retribution by Kakap, a beautiful display of mechanics on those cables. That retribution was timed perfectly. I think nobody expected him to actually contest it. I don't think I expected it, neither did the viewers, with the way the map position was held by Boyko. But now they've turned this game around with a goal lead of 3k and a shutdown by Gami on this Ling, and he falls finally, the first death from him. And Gami is having a great game right now. He's at 6-2-1. Someone kill this man. Someone stop this man, because that damage on that synchro vision is just insane. The Lord is marching down, turret shield being popped, but they choose to disengage for now and just clean up the tier 2 turret on the mid lane. The tempo is now completely in the hands of John Tonsing, and Boyko has to do something, but Creator using a beautiful final slash, picking up this skill onto Aizen, and he's at a 0-5. It is not a great start for him in this game. After such a dominant display in game 3, he is really struggling right now in game 4.
Yep, absolutely. And I do believe that Kakap Zarda is working in this match. And here we can see that the chip is just looking for an opportunity to gank on whoever is going to be coming out. And look at that, the Tempest of Blades has to be forced out by that Ling. He is back in full HP, but the damage coming out from Gami's health is just way too much. He's gonna have to 2 to 3 shot each of those squishy picks, the Jukshin as well as the Lunox and Link. And even Xbox, he does not have any items yet. Only the War Axe. There is no Immortality, Antique, or Athena being built up. So it's kind of a mess because he cannot provide the front line for the rest of his team.
And dude, right now the lack of CC, apart from that, Zujin is hurting, because it's how will a Zujin even get enough stacks onto the Fanny? And right now, right as we speak, Zujin does fall. Aizen follows close behind. That cult altar is soaking up all the damage put in by Boyko's team. Lunox is not even getting a chance to, sit in one place and use a Chaos Assault in peace, as she's absolutely getting harassed by Creator and Gami with their damage. The Vengeance, that final slash, and the Synchro Fusion is just too much for them to sustain. Boyko's losing half of his Firaga armor's HP, that shield, and just one Synchro Fusion. Look at that. And he has to pick up an anti-Cuirass. In fact, I would suggest him to pick up an Athena, and yes, he's probably building up towards a Radiant or an Athena right now. The draft on the side of John Tongsing is just much better in this game, and it is showing.
Yep, that's what I told you. They need their comfort picks. They need those assassins, the Fanny, the Ling, the Hayabusa to try and make a difference in the match. And as we can see, there's a possible engage onto that Kamala right out of the Lord. Creator a bit too deep, but he will just be backing off. Because, of course, there's no point in ganking your enemy right after the Lord is taken. You'd rather just sing the lanes, right?
Exactly, they're gonna sink the lanes, I guess, but I think they want to deny L from his blue buff, because they feel like it's even better to bait out this Link's entire skill set. And look at that, Fanny nearly gets the kill onto this Lunox, and she had to use her light form, and she nearly got popped, man. Like, I think there was barely enough time to press a button before Kakap nearly put out an entire you know, hit off that fanny. Steel cables was also used. Really fast hands coming out of this fanny. And this is why we love seeing assassins versus assassins. The game can change in just a few seconds. Steel cables being used. He's trying to catch out L, and L has to disengage with his S2. And dude, this Lord is marching down, and almost, a lot of spells. The flicker has been used up by this Lunox. It's going to be much harder for her to escape. There's not enough lane clear on the side of Boyko to even touch that Lord. Look at that. That Lord is just so tanky. It's going to take them at least 7 to 8 seconds to melt this Lord down.
Yep, meanwhile, Conceal has been used up by Doom and he will be trying to look for an engage. Look at those steel cables right under the turret, but he will be caught out. But mega kill for that Fanny as the cult order just manages to help them secure the kill onto Lunox, who did not have a flicker, and godlike Mogami on that Harris as he manages to secure a kill onto Boyko. One down, only Doom is down from the side of Team Jonathan Singh, and Jukshin almost managing to get a kill. Farish almost managing to get a kill out of the Jukshin, but 4 members down, and this will be the game secured by the side of Team John Thompson, and the score will be settled for a 2-2 for each team, which means that we are going to game number 5, everyone, the match point, and we will soon be back with another game.
And dude, it was an absolute curb stomping. Within 14 minutes, this game was wrapped up. Kakab does not even die once on his signature Fanny. And a really great performance by every single member by John Tonsing. Like, look at how well that frontline duo, that of Doom and Creator, giving the best sets for Fanny to dive in. The cult altars were perfectly on time to prevent Harith and Kakab from taking in too much hits, and Kakab did not disappoint with that perfect retribution. That Lord Steal is what changed the entire game, man. It went from an even match to a complete stomp.
Absolutely. Viewers, do not go anywhere. We will be back in less than 2 to 3 minutes as the lobby is being prepared. So we're gonna see you. Be right back.
Back. And welcome back, viewers. This is game 5. It is an exciting atmosphere to be in. Both teams are really tense, but at the same time pumped up after those two wins and those two, distraught losses faced by both of them. So, right now, both teams are eager to prove themselves. The scoreboard is even, but now it is up to their gameplay to tip the scales in their favor. Which team goes into the semis and which team will move into the lower brackets to fight a much more uphill battle. And right now, the first bans are, the Julian and the Harith. Boyko learning their mistake from the previous game does not. It was this ninth minute actually. He was not even getting his blue buff before the Lords. So right now, the Zuzhan has been banned out. It looks like Sadjin was a lot more problem